In this video, I am going over 5 football mistakes that keep you average as a player. So make sure you see if you're making these mistakes and then correct them if you are so that you can improve your game and start to stand out more. That's coming up next. When I'm busy doing totally legitimate things, I rely on OneFootball to give me all the news stories, fixtures, results, and more from the world of football. Download it for free today. Hey guys, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dave and this is Simply Soccer, where we are releasing soccer tip, technique, and training videos almost every single day right now to help you improve your game and stand out on the pitch. So if you've not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any of the content that we produce. Now, I want to go over some of the many mistakes I see that are common among footballers that really hold them back from getting to that next level or improving as much as they can. So really pay attention during this video to see if any of these apply to you, and if they do, then the simple thing to do then after you have the awareness is fix them or course correct so you're not making them anymore. So let's get the obvious one out of the way first, and it's one I talk about all the time, but it's a lack of consistency. You know, nothing will hold you back more than not consistently doing certain things. The first one being training. But I'm not just talking about training. I'm not just talking about your actual individual practice and team training. I'm also talking about your consistency in matches. Because if you don't develop yourself to be a player that can consistently perform well in matches, then you're not going to be that much of an asset for your team. Now, many of the things we go over in this video will help you perform more consistently in matches, but just keep that idea in mind. Consistency also includes, like I already mentioned, your actual training sessions, but it also includes the lifestyle of a high-level footballer. If your aim is to be a high-level footballer, playing college, playing pro, then you need to model those kinds of people, those kinds of players. So what kind of lifestyle do they live? How do they eat? How do they train? How do they recover? You need to be consistently also already doing this now before you've even gotten there, if you have plans to get there at some point in the future. Number 2 has to do with training again, and it's making sure you're not just going through the motions and you're deliberately training. You know, a lot of players will go to the field and they will mindlessly train. They'll take the ball out and they'll just kick it around, maybe shoot it on net, and an hour or two will go by, and so they'll think they got an hour or two of training in. Now, technically, chronologically, through time, yes, you have, but how good was that training session? How much did you actually improve? Probably not that much. However, if you set up your training sessions deliberately to work on specific things, to deliberately train different areas of your game, there's a plan, there's a schedule, then you're going to see incremental gains over time. Now, one of the best ways to make sure you're deliberately training is to get yourself in a training program. Now, I have one myself called Ultimate Soccer Skills, which I will link down below if you are interested. But if you want to do something else, you have to make sure you have some sort of schedule, some kind of plan that gets you to deliberately work on the areas you need to be working on. So the areas in general that all players need to work on, and probably some more position-specific stuff that's going to help you in your particular position. Now, deliberate training doesn't just end at the skill-based stuff for football. It also involves deliberately eating, deliberately working out, and doing strength training and cardio that's outside of just using the ball. However, make sure everything is set up in a deliberate way, and the more deliberately you set up all your training and everything else, the better results you're going to get, and you're also going to get better feedback, which will allow you to adjust over time. Third mistake is a lack of ambition and clarity. You know, there are a lot of players who say they want to get to the next level or go pro, but how ambitious are they? How much are they actually putting in? Is what they're doing reflected in their ambition, or is their ambition reflected in what they are doing? It's easy to say, I want to become a pro or I want to play in college, but you need to actually show that you want to do that. You need to have the ambition, true drive within you to actually go out there and do all the things that are required every single day to make that ambition a reality. One thing I found will hold you back or prevent you from actually having high ambitions is a lack of clarity. It's not good enough to just say, I want this or I want that. It's why do you want those things? Why do you want to become a better footballer? Answer that question for yourself in as much detail as possible. Why do I want to be a pro? You know, really become super clear on why you want the things you have. Be super clear and have goals based on that thing. And when you have this clarity, you know, that's what's going to create the drive. That's what's going to create the ambition that's going to take you forward. But you need to generate that energy. You need to generate that feeling that knows why you're doing what you're doing. Because if it's all up in the dark and it's just all confusing and you have no clarity, you're not gonna have the inspiration, the motivation to get out of bed and get up early to go train. You're not gonna have the inspiration to eat the food you need to eat. You need to have crystal clear clarity. It needs to consume you in a way for you to actually develop the ambition that's needed to get to these higher levels, or at least be beyond an average footballer. So ask yourself, why is it I want to grow as a person, a footballer? Why is it I want to become a collegiate athlete with a scholarship or pro or whatever it is? Really nail that, really work and spend some time on figuring out what that is, because without that foundation, again, it's going to be really hard to move towards something you don't even know why you're trying to move towards. Fourth mistake is a big one, and it's lack of confidence, lack of self-belief in your ability as a footballer. And again, this might be a tired concept for a lot of you, but nothing will hold you back. Nothing will keep you average more than a lack of self-belief in your ability. And I say this all the time, it doesn't matter how good or skillful you are. You will not be able to display those skills, display that ability that you have physically with the ball if you lack confidence. On the flip side, there could be a player who has less skill, less technical ability than another, but if he is exuding confidence and believes in himself, not only is he going to grow quicker, he's going to perform better in the moment. This game is 50% mental, and I would argue probably even a little more than that. Yes, the training part of it, the physical skills is important, but having confidence isn't going to cause you to not train enough. It'll probably cause you to train more. You'll have the confidence to go into each training session to get better, to know you're going to grow. So make sure you're really training your confidence. It's a trainable skill. Now, I have a course that will help you with this. Again, if you want a program that's going to help you with your confidence, it's called Complete Soccer Confidence. Again, I'll link it down below. But if not, make sure you're doing something in this area. Training your confidence is as important as training everything else. All right, guys, fifth mistake is not challenging yourself enough. And it's just human nature. It's very easy to get comfortable. It's easy to get comfortable, for example, on a team that you're way beyond, but it's easy to play on because you're the best player and all the opposition you can just kind of weave in and out of and score a goal like Maradona did against England, except you're not playing against England. So you have to be constantly challenging yourself, not only in your own training, trying to do things a little bit faster, a little bit crisper, a little bit tighter, a little bit cleaner, but also in the team you're on, in the opposition you're playing against. And I can give you a little story, and I'll probably make a separate video on this, but when I changed club teams at around 15, 16 years old, I doubled my ability as a footballer within a few months. And the reason for this is because I had already been doing the individual training, I'd already been working on my game as much as possible, challenging myself in my own individual practices. However, I was not on a team that reflected my ability. I was on a team where I was easily the best player, and the opposition, although was pretty good, was not at the level I was at that point. So what ended up happening, I got scouted for another team, and I had just joined this other club team that wasn't as good, but it would have been much more comfortable for me to stay on the team I was already on. I was the best player. I was going to start and probably play every match all the way through. I was going to have a lot, maybe more fun because I'd be able just to operate in matches effortlessly. However, joining this team put me on a team with players as good or better than me, put me against nationally ranked and state ranked other teams, so I'm playing against some of the best in the state and in the nation in my age group, and I grew so much as a player because I rose up to this challenge instead of shrinking away from it. So constantly look for ways you can challenge yourself. If a better team comes and they want your services, they want you on their team, yet you don't know if you'll start whatever it is, rise to the challenge, because playing with those players every day in practice and playing against better players is only going to help your game. And one thing that can hold you back is if you're not being challenged enough. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, make sure you're not being over-challenged. Make sure the level is not so vast that it would take you years to catch up. What you want is people at your level or kind of a little above, maybe even a little more, because if you make it impossible, that's just not going to help you. However, look for a way, especially if you're on a team right now, then you are just, if you're being unbiased, would say, yeah, I'm actually a lot better than this team. I need to move on. I need pastures new. I need to challenge myself more. Look to do that. All right, guys, those were the 5 mistakes. Question of the day is, let me know in the comments which mistake out of all of the ones I've gone over do you need to look at the most and fix the most? Let me know in the comments and I'll answer as many of your comments as I can. Thanks, guys, for tuning into this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want more videos like this and I will produce more videos like this. Make sure you check out my free ebook Game Changer if you've not already, going over 33 different ways you can improve and stand out as a player. Thanks again for watching the video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.